Welcome to this edition of the SKNIS Week in Review. Coming up, security officials fine-tune skills on effective strategy planning in crises. Department of Sports pushing forward with plans to establish a federal sports policy. Government continues its robust infrastructural upgrade program. And consultation by the National Marijuana Commission gaining momentum. Those stories and more are next on the SKNIS Week in Review for the period April 20 to 26, 2018. 36 senior officials from various security and government agencies are about halfway through a 2-week course that seeks to equip them with competencies in critically evaluating the prevailing logics of national security and developing their perspectives on effective strategy planning in crises. The training is facilitated by lecturers from the Galilee International Management Institute of Israel. Stakeholders from the public and private sector in St. Kitts and Nevis engaged in discussions on matters relating to climate change and its impact on relevant sectors during a recent launch of the 3rd National Communications to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, as well as its first biennial update report. Minister with responsibility for the environment, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, addressed the participants and said that everyone needed to bond together to help mitigate the threat as the world's climate is changing, and it promises to change at faster rates.
The risks and the impacts associated with these changes are real and are already happening in many systems and sectors essential for human livelihood, including our water resources, changes in our food security, changes in our coastline zones, and even in health. It therefore goes without saying that urgent action to halt climate change and deal with its impacts is integral to the successful implementation and realization of the Sustainable Development Goals. It also goes without saying that pursuing climate change action and sustainable development in an integrated and coherent way offers the strongest approach if we are to achieve our objectives.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, updated the nation on the progress of a number of capital projects on Wednesday. Dr. Harris explained that work will soon begin on the construction of the East Bastion bus terminal on Wellington Road, following the completion of a new home for the Vehicle Maintenance Division of the Public Works Department. He added that refurbishment work on the Coast Guard base continues to make, quote, strong progress, end quote, and the work at the Tabernacle Health Center is on stream and on budget. The build-out of the National Heroes Park continues, while a public tender for the rehabilitation of the Old Road Bay Road will be issued in the coming weeks.
We anticipate that 2018 will be the best year of implementation of the capital projects. We have learned over the last 3 years, and so we are in a better position now to ensure the build-out.
The National Marijuana Commission continues to meet with residents in St. Kitts and in Nevis to gather their views and opinions on the decriminalization of marijuana. The Commission is engaging with the public through town hall meetings, focus groups, and surveys. Chief Medical Officer and Chair of the Marijuana Commission, Dr. Hazel Laws, spoke about the progress to date.
To date, we have hosted 4 out of the scheduled 17 town hall meetings. So we have done less than 25% of the town hall meetings. You asked about the attendance. The attendance has been fair to fine. I would say the greatest turnout we've had so far is in the Keon district. That town hall meeting, we had the biggest number of attendees. I don't think I'm in a position to tell you now, what the people's position is as yet.
The Ministry of Sports in St. Kitts is carrying out a catalogue of sports-related resources, including intellectual property, as it pushes ahead with plans to formulate a federal sports policy and strategic implementation plan. The framework for the policy document will be based on 3 pillars that currently guide the activities and programs of the Department of Sports. They are Sport for All, Sport for Development, and Sport for Excellence. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sports, Stanley Knights, gave some insight into the broad scope that the policy must address.
Sport for All now means that we have a mandate to ensure the delivery of sports for persons who are 1 year old and persons who are 100 years old. If we say we are providing sports for all, then it means that we have to provide facilities for all. We have to provide the facilities for persons that are differently abled. And so, as simple as it sounds to say sports for all, you need the policy to articulate the delivery on that particular overall goal.
The important role that the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services play in promoting public safety and security was underscored on Wednesday. Fire Officer Louisa Clark addressed the misconception that all the men and women of the service do is sit around and wait for a fire.
It's just not for security, it's also for safety. Without fire services, what will happen? So we don't only do extinguishing of fires, we are there also for safety. You might see us at shows into school that just gone. We are not there for just for fire to break out. We are there for safety. Just in the event of, God forbid, that when the stadium have to collapse, we are there to do rescuing also. That's a major part of for national security for us.
On the diplomatic front, Her Excellency Zena Rudi, Ambassador Designate of the Republic of Kosovo to St. Kitts and Nevis, traveled to Bastia this week to present her credentials. She is the first ambassador from Kosovo to be accredited to the Twin Island Federation since her country gained independence in 2008. Her Excellency Rudi will be based in Panama, and she expressed to Dr. Harris her desire to deepen bilateral ties between the two countries.
We have an important job to do from Panama to strengthen relations with countries like yours and to sort of start paying thanks to the support that we have received from your country. It is very important for me to convey to you the gratitude of my government, of the people of Kosovo, for first having recognized our independent country, and secondly, for establishing diplomatic relations, fortifying it even more, and also for signing the agreement in exoneration of visa, which I believe provides the basis for much more exchange.
Also traveling to Bastia this week was Sri C.R. Shahjuri, the Minister of State for Commerce and Industry in India. In discussions with Prime Minister Harris, areas of cooperation in the fields of renewable energy development, trade, agriculture, and health were covered. Still on the diplomatic front, the governments of St. Kitts and Nevis and Rwanda signed a mutual visa waiver agreement. The agreement was signed by St. Kitts and Nevis High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, His Excellency Dr. Kevin Isaac, and Her Excellency Yamina Karitanyi, High Commissioner of Rwanda to the United Kingdom. And finally, hundreds of nationals from all walks of life attended this year's Agricultural Open Day that was held on Thursday and Friday. There was an impressive display of crops and livestock and other products. The event marked 25 years since its inception. That's all for this edition of the SKNIS Week in Review. So long.